What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we are going to be comparing the AS VAL Beijing Operatic with the AS VAL Steel Fusion. So I figured that since the AS VAL finally has a second legendary skin slash not mythic, I think it's only fair to make a video on the two, deciding which one is actually worth buying, which one is better than the other. So yeah, starting off with the AS VAL Steel Fusion, this was the first one to come out. This was, I believe, like late into last year. I think like late into maybe year 2. I'm not really that sure. This skin's kind of old, but at the same time, it was kind of like one of those things in place for all those people that might have missed the Mythic. So yeah, this came out early, but before the AS VAL Mythic Redux came out. So yeah, it's a fairly recent skin, but at the same time, kind of subpar. I wasn't really expecting them to do something crazy with the first AS VAL legendary skin. But either way, I mean, again, it's like more of a compensation thing. But for me, since I am a fan of the AS VAL, obviously I was going to pick it up either way. I ended up picking this skin up during one of the Double Trouble draws. I believe this was with the MK2 legendary and the AS VAL Steel Fusion. So I decided, hey, it's going to be cheaper. Might as well buy it. If anything, I think this was like one of the few weapons that was around when I decided to stop buying legendary skins and just focus solely on mythics. I think it was on that exact season. I could be wrong. I mean, it came out, I think, alongside the QXR Fossil Fire, or at least in the same season. So yeah, I mean, my memory's not that great. We've already had a fuck ton of seasons. You guys already know that. So forgive me, guys, if I don't really have like really great memory when it comes to this. I mean, we've already been around this game for like more than 3 years at this point, so yeah, there's gonna be some things I forget. But anyways, let's actually talk about the gun itself. I think we got sidetracked a little bit too much here. So the AS VAL Steel Fusion is kind of like, I guess, a fire, somewhat mechanical based legendary skin. If anything, it has kind of like something to do with welding in some ways. The overall colors for the gun are, of course, orange and black. That's basically the theme of the weapon. And for the magazine, it does have, like, I guess this, I don't know, TNT or like some sort of bomb that's like strapped to it with also like a keypad there. So it does look pretty cool, but it's nothing that crazy. But however, there is a secondary function for this legendary skin. It actually has a bayonet that you could use, which is something that not a lot of weapons have the ability to do. The only one that I could think of is probably the AGR 556. What's it called? It starts with an R. It's like another bayonet type of legendary skin. I just figured out the name. It was called the AGR Ripper. That's what it was. But yeah, this gun has a bayonet. But the funny thing is that the Beijing Operatic does also have a bayonet, but I'm not really sure if you're able to use that as kind of like a makeshift melee function. If anything, I mean, the knife isn't really that prominent when it comes to that skin, but yeah. As for the effects of this gun, it's not really that crazy, you know, when they kind of, you know, the enemy looks like a thermite when you kill them. That's basically the death effect. It's nothing really crazy. The sound effect for the gun as well isn't too changed. It more or less sounds the same as the original AS VAL. As for the inspection, of course, it's a legendary, so it's going to have a simple inspection, but the sounds don't change at all when it comes to this legendary either, because, well, like I said, I mean, the Steel Fusion isn't really that, like, it's not really that much of a complex legendary. It's not that high quality. It's not even a reactive evolving type of legendary skin. It was a much cheaper version where it only reacts when you do get a kill. It's just like individual animations whenever that happens, but it's nothing special, like I said. As for the iron sight, I would say it's slightly better than the original gun, but even then, it is kind of like a stretch because sometimes it does kind of feel uncomfortable to use. It flip-flops with me, but you know, ever since I've been using the Beijing Operatic or even just the Mythic, I would say that it's not as great as those two. So now we move on to the current day AS VAL legendary skin, which is the Beijing Operatic. So this one, like already eyeballing it, you know, typically they do improve legendaries that come later on compared to the ones that may have come earlier. So it's obvious to say that the AS VAL Beijing Operatic is miles better than it is for the Steel Fusion. Moving on to the effects, like, you know, the animations and everything, I will say that this is slightly better than the Steel Fusion. I know the fire around the Steel Fusion, except like especially in the back of the iron sight, or I guess in the back of the body of the gun, there is a lot of flames that do emanate from the gun, but Again, it's from very small parts of the weapon itself, but when it comes to the Beijing operatic, I mean, the whole blue body of the whole weapon is very, very much animated. And even for the outer animations, like the energy that you see around those red balls, or, you know, just even after you get a kill, you know, they do flare up a little bit better. It's more noticeable, a lot more creative, a lot more effort has gone into it. So yeah, I would say the Beijing operatic overall, when it comes to its animation appearances, does take the cake. Even when it comes to its physical appearance, again, it's a lot more creative than the other one. Like the other one seems more of like an epic weapon with just added effects, if anything. But this one does feel like a genuine legendary skin. Death effect is also pretty unique as well. It's far better than what we have with the AS VAL that kind of just turns enemies into a giant thermite. But this one has, like, you know, the flags flowing around, the energy around it looks amazing as well. The sound effect, I will also give it to this gun. It does make it kind of makes it sound like the Sigrun QQ9, but it does have its unique sound nonetheless. So I would say overall, the operatic is better by like every sense of the word. And this makes sense because, you know, in the previous months, you know, legendaries were a little bit less evolved, but I would say that they are kind of amplifying the looks of each legendary skin that comes by. I mean, if you're looking at the Dingo legendary, I mean, that thing looks amazing as well. And I could only imagine how the Maddox is going to look next season alongside the other legendary skins that are yet to be, I guess, introduced. And it does feel like the devs do kind of understand feedback in some ways. I mean, if they notice that legendary skin has a lot of negative feedback, they will probably make another one in the future that looks a lot better. Of course, that's not always the case. There are a few exceptions, but I have noticed that some legendary skins that do come out after one that got released usually are a little bit better. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.